Hey, and welcome to my Better Call Saul Season 6 review. I'm recording this before it comes out. And, this is going to be something of what I want from this season. Like an intro or something. And, because Season 6 is not coming out till 4 months from now when I'm recording this. And, for this review, I'm thinking, making it a bit more improv and scripted, because normally when I do scripted reviews midway through editing, I think of a big section I want to do, and it just takes a lot of work to do, and I don't feel like doing that. So I'm just gonna do an entire improv review. So every episode's gonna be individually reviewed as they come out, and there's gonna be 13 episodes, so this is gonna be pretty long, because we're gonna do an intro, episode by episode review, an outro where I talk about the entire season. Anyways, so what I want from this season, Season 6, there's going to be 13 episodes. And from where we left off last season, I don't know if it could even be done, because I feel like the way with the show's paced, I feel like it needs to be at least 2 more seasons, because Saul might have the name Saul, but he's really not Saul from Breaking Bad yet, because it's only 2004 in a timeline, and Breaking Bad starts in 2008, so we have 4 years to go. So, I mean, I'm not expecting it to end directly before Breaking Bad, but it could end with Office. Also, I should probably mention that I'm horrible at speaking, so hopefully I improve at that before this ends, And there's also so many freaking plot threads that need to be solved, like Lalo, who's probably gonna die, Nachos, Saul's, and Gene, and Kim. Those are probably the big 5. There's an extra, Mike, Gus, but those are pretty much complete characters already, and there's nothing really interesting going on with them. And speaking of Gene, I really have no idea what they would do with the opening for Season 6. Maybe have a setup, and come back to it in the final episode or something. Have the final episode just be Saul being Saul, and having cutaways to Gene and that storyline, because I really do not see that the Gene timeline ending on the first episode of Season 6. That's all I could think of right now for my predictions for Season 6. So I hope you will enjoy the rest of this video. Who knows how long it's going to be? Probably an hour and a half, maybe. Hopefully, because this is going to be so freaking hard to edit. Well, I'm not going to really edit it. It's just going to be a picture. Think more like a podcast, probably. So, enjoy the rest of the video. I will upload the episode 1 review, but then I'll upload every single other episode as one whole thing. So, you'll get to see that. Anyways, hope you burrito heads enjoy my episode 1 review. Well, it finally came out. Episodes 1 and 2 premiered today. I'm going to review the first 2 episodes as one whole episode, because, the way they were interspliced when I watched it on TV pretty much made it one episode, so I'm just going to talk about both episodes anyways. So the intro was really cool, because I knew it was not going to be a Gene scene this season, because I read the reviews, because I'm weird like that, and it actually showed Saul Goodman's house being raided by the police, and it's cool because we've never seen Saul Goodman's house before in Breaking Bad, and it's like like practically a mansion, and there's bras lying everywhere, Viagra pills, and a golden toilet, which was kind of cool. I thought for a second it could have been a Gene scene because it starts out all black and white, but then it turns to color, and then you slowly realize what's going on. And the music that was playing was the song that was in the trailer, Days of Wine and Roses, which is also the name of the episode. And basically what the song's about is a toxic relationship where one partner eventually dies. But that's kind of confusing because at the end of the intro, you could see Kim's cork, which she keeps from season 2, lying on the ground. So I guess Saul Goodman just keeps that lying around or so, for some reason. Or, maybe she's in the background, but that wouldn't make sense since, one, they're married, and two, there's a bunch of hookers that you could see Saul around. And anyways, the intro for the season, I absolutely loved it. It was completely black and white, not a color for a second, and it breaks. Like sometimes it just turns to blue because how it's so distorted at this point. But anyways, after that, I'll talk about the rest of the episode very sporadically. Don't really need to go from point to point. What I noticed is Jimmy is still suffering from the desert experience and pretty much everything else that's happened through the entire series. And he's not really the one that's turning to Saul at this point. It's more Kim trying to. She tells him to maybe he should get a more flashy car or get a new office in that diner scene at the El Camino, which is a pretty cheeky reference. There's a lot of references in only these first 2 episodes already too. Especially the truck scene when Lally was about to go over the border, which was in season 3 when the Salamanca cousins were crossing the border. And also what I noticed is that the lighting is way, way more darker. I really love what they did with the lighting. It was dark for season 5 as well. They're using the same cameras from season 5 in El Camino on this, but the first 3 or so seasons of the show, it's just bright and colorful, and they've actually changed the cameras halfway through the show, which was really cool. And I think they also probably used film in the in the intro like they did for Breaking Bad, just to make it accurate. I think they did that, maybe, I don't know. Also, one other thing I noticed that kind of annoyed me was Kim was using a laptop in the scene. And, this takes place in 2004, so I don't really think that's accurate. Also, Jimmy accidentally mentioning Lalo to the detectives will probably come back at one scene. And the guy that Kim worked for at Mesa Verde, I forgot his name, comes back in the scene where Jimmy is trying to put the drugs, well, they say it was baby powder, the cocaine, quote-unquote cocaine, in Howard's locker. And, you really notice how much people he's hurt and really made mad over the course of the series, because Betsy killed him and Greg killed him will come back too. Anyways, at the end of the episode, well, my prediction is Howard is following them because, he knows what they're up to. You don't really see him much in the first 2 episodes, but you can already tell that he's suspecting just from that one cocaine slip, Anyways, yeah, I'm not sure I have really much more to say. It was really good. I'm really excited to talk more about this series too. I don't know if that was too short, but Yeah, this is a really good start to the season, especially the nacho scenes, which are extremely tense. I love the lighting. It's you could really feel the heat in the yellow Mexico desert, which they're still doing. The the kill count is already like pretty high, especially for a Better Call Saul season. So this is keeping up with the tension from the end of season 5. So I'm really excited to see that. Also, I really don't know how Jimmy is gonna get the freaking inflatable from the Betsy Kettleman and Greg's store. That's like a really interesting thing because that's at his office in Breaking Bad. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how Jimmy gets that. And speaking of Breaking Bad, Jesse and Walter were revealed to be in this season. So it's like, and Walter especially has his season 2 mustache. So it has to be in 2008. Like, it has to be during season 2 of Breaking Bad. So I guess there will be a big time jump, maybe in between part 1 and part 2 of this season. Especially since the season starts out with the end of Breaking Bad. But I don't really know how they're gonna do that because they really have to resolve a lot for it to time jump. But maybe it'll be in like the last 3 or so episodes, maybe. And also speaking for the last 3 episodes, I don't know how they're gonna have a different intro for each episode, because usually every Better Call Saul season only has 10 episodes, so they're gonna have to have a new intro. Anyways, I think I talked enough about this. I hope it was a bit of a ramble, kind of suck at it, but anyways, hope you enjoyed my episode 601 and 602 review. And yeah, I'll see you in episode 3. Even though this is an episode of the show, I wanted to talk about the American Greed documentary that was made on April 1st. It was really, I really loved it because I had a similar idea for like a mockumentary kind of thing like that a few years ago. I wrote it down on like a Google Doc somewhere, I don't know, but I did do that, and it was really cool that it actually came to life. And this takes place in the Breaking Bad universe, like it's an actual documentary. Anyways, it brought some cool characters from the show, like Betsy and Craig, which were also in episode 601 and 602 of this season. So I guess they're gonna play a big role. And the guy that's always eating chips, I always forgot his name, but he and Jimmy talk a few times. He's the lawyer. Yeah, it was really cool, especially since it's like an after Breaking Bad documentary made in the universe, since you never really see anything that happens outside this small view of everything else. So, and like, it must be a very confusing image for the outside world to even know what happened during the series. Yeah, like, have to put a lot of pieces together. And it'd probably be one of the most interesting cases of all time if it was real. Anyways, I really liked that, and yeah, I think they did a really good job on it. Anyways, that's all I had to say about the American Greed documentary. Alright, I just finished episode 3 of Better Call Saul, which had the name Rock in a Hard Place, and, Rock and Hard Place, which is probably pretty grammatically incorrect, but whatever. And, that ending, only 3 episodes in, I'm gonna spoil it. Nacho commits suicide. So, yeah, I really just finished it a couple minutes ago, and it was, what the fuck? Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul never usually do these kind of deaths, like Game of Thrones type deaths. Like, Walter lives, Jesse lives. I mean, it's like, it's not satisfying, but it's like good enough for what these characters can do. But this death was like, they've never done anything like this before, and it was only 3 episodes in. Oh my god. Uh, Nacho is interrogated by John Bolsa, Wheelman, Hector Salamanca, and the twins, because he gives himself up. He lets himself die for his dad. I mean, he admits that he poisoned Hector, and says, like, wow. I've thought, like, if they were gonna do this, it would be like near the end of the season, but god fucking damn. I cannot believe they did that. Especially in the sneak peek, that it didn't even show what happened in this episode. They showed Lalo and stuff. He hasn't been in episodes 2 or 3. I mean, Hector tells him, like, does he have proof, and he like goes out to find it, and he knew it was Nacho, but he never did anything about it. And now Nacho's dead, so it's like, okay. This season is I'm not sure if I want to call it bad, but it's like it's not what I expected at all. You know? Because there's a lot of confusing things, like, wow, like Mike putting the thing in there, or like the Salamanca cousins coming after Nacho, and there's like a big firefight. So I guess that was pretty much pointless because he just died anyways. I'm not really pissed off. I'm just like in shock. This is like a Joel kind of death. Because that's how I felt when he died. I mean, I know Joel's death was meant to be pointless too, but it's like there was a meaning to it because that's the whole point of the game. But like this one, I'm not sure. Like they just killed him in like the 3rd episode. That was, yeah. I mean, I bet we all thought he was gonna get like a Jesse kind of ending, but maybe it's best not all of them get the good happy ending. I mean, if I had to choose between Jesse and Nacho, I would choose Jesse. But wow. Anyway, that's my instant reaction to that episode. God, God damn. But anyways, like the intro, there's always bad omens for the intro, because it's like in the train heist episode where the kid picks up the spider. You don't know who this kid is, but then he comes back at the end of the episode. It's just like that. Like we see a bloody bottle and stuff, and it's like, oh shit, and then they do this. While I was watching it, it's like, while he was holding the gun to John Bolsa's head, I was like, they can't kill him because he's alive in Breaking Bad. And yeah, this was like the only way out of that, I guess. So I kind of was in denial when they said Nacho's gonna die, because I thought he was just like gonna get out of it some way, but I guess not. So like he actually went out, but it wasn't like a horrible death, because like he still got the best death he could have had at this point, because he told Gus not to mess with his father anymore. He got that. That's all he ever wanted, and then he just went out. Now the only thing is, Jimmy. You remember in Breaking Bad, the Better Call Saul episode, he says it was Ignacio. He was the one. Maybe he would know about the death, but maybe like they the death on him. Well, they can't because they said it was some other guy. But Jimmy has gonna have to become clued in on this because he knows Lalo is dead at this point in time, and so Lalo, who hasn't been seen for 2 episodes, probably come back. There'll be a whole predicament with all of them, and he'll find out about the situation, and we'll finally get the famous line, "He was Ignacio, he was the one." Anyways, besides the nacho stuff, we got a tiny bit of Jimmy stuff this episode. There was only really Nacho and Jimmy this episode. What we saw for Jimmy is he was getting the car keys from Howard for a plan we still don't know about. And the next episode is called Hit and Run, which I'm kind of worried about. Because, cars, hit and run, you get it. So we see Heel do his iconic lifting, which is like one of his big character traits now, pretty much. Because that's what he's known for. And that was a cool scene. I had lots of fun with that. Yeah, nothing really much happens this episode. But it was still I don't know how to feel about this episode still, because the stuff that was in the sneak peek wasn't in this. I mean, I like being surprised. Uh, wow, I don't know how to feel about that. Yeah. There's also this consistent pattern of everyone Jimmy wronged in the previous seasons, like the Kettlemans, uh, the beanie, uh, the Beanie Baby woman, like saying clothes to them, and the blonde lawyer that Kim talks to for a scene, all saying how Jimmy's a bad person, which is like a consistent theme around the show. I'm noticing at this point. Well, I mean, it's always been a theme, but it's like really prevalent in this season. I'd feel really bad if I was Jimmy, and if I knew Jimmy IRL. You just get so much shit on him all the time. But yeah, I guess the rock in the hard place was watching this episode, because it was really hard to watch. Yeah, that was that was my thoughts on the episode 603, Rock and Hard Place. Well, I just finished the episode Hit and Run, which the title doesn't sound as bad as it actually sounds, because it was just a scam that they were doing, which went off without a hitch like the rest of them did, because I don't know, they're just really good at scams, I guess. Speaking of the scam, Wendy comes back, our favorite prostitute, from Breaking Bad. And also, speaking of a Breaking Bad character who's a meth addict, we also have Spooge from Breaking Bad too, who was only in the Peekaboo episode. So, yeah, lots of references this episode. Those are only character references. We have so many references this episode, like to the cameras, and to Saul Goodman's office and stuff. And speaking of the cameras, that teaser of Gus walking to his house, that was actually used in the episode, just like that one of the Salamanca cousins walking through the Lalo crime scene. And so, it's my assumption, my theory at the moment, that a Gene scene will probably open with this exact one, probably in the last 3 episodes, or maybe at the beginning of part 2 of this final season in July. Speaking of that, yeah, that's probably when it's going to be shown, and probably when, because most of the trailer only shows stuff from like the first 7 episodes, it seems, because the scenes in the trailer have only been in the showing what's happening in this episode, and nothing indicates that Walter or Jesse are coming in. So we'll probably get like, I don't know, a second trailer, but probably not. I want to keep it a surprise anyways. And Gus is really paranoid of Lalo, who hasn't been seen in 3 episodes. So maybe he probably won't be shown next episode, but maybe in episodes 6 and 7, he kind of has to be, right? Lots of stuff happened this episode, but yeah, it was pretty tame compared to last week's, because Nacho blowing his head out. Also, somehow everyone knows that Jimmy is a cartel lawyer now, which, causes him to get more clients. So, he's pretty popular now. And he gets kicked from the nail salon and gets to his Breaking Bad office, which is right next to the Taco Cabeza, which is Jesse's favorite place to do drug deals. Also, they keep reusing that El Camino Diner, because it's been shown in episode 1 and 3 when Kim is with her clients. So, I guess that's a really important plot detail now, I guess. Also in the sneak peek, you see Francesca, who hasn't been in 3 seasons, coming back in the next episode, which is called Black and Blue. Who knows why it's called that? Anyways, that was the episode Hit and Run. It was a pretty good episode. Cut that out. Anyways, they don't disappoint. Any episode this season. So much for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul fans would love, like me. Anyways, see you in the episode of Black and Blue. So I just finished the episode Black and Blue, and it was not as packed as episode 4 was, even though episode 4 was not as packed as episode 3. But still a lot happens, because after Cliff finds out, he tells Howard, and Howard quickly realizes it's Jimmy, and so the boxing match happens that we've seen in the trailers. Well, we saw him at the boxing ring, we didn't see him fight, but sadly Jimmy didn't use his nobody skills on Howard. And I don't really know what their plan was, though. Like, did they just expect Cliff to not console Howard about it? Because he's figuring it out now. And in the next episode, the description says Howard scrutinizes Jimmy over his business practices. So it's he's in trouble now because he has a private investigator on him too. So I don't really get what the plan was. But, we don't really know the full plan anyways. Maybe this is actually going to plan. Because, we're just seeing it as it happens. Also, what's coming next line from Kim. It really indicates that this is planned because they're not that stupid anyways. Just wanted to get that out of the way. So yeah, this is definitely going as planned, I think. But, this wasn't a bad episode because when the big moments do come, especially probably in episode 7, because we aren't going to be seeing this show for a month, they are going to hit pretty hard probably. And also, just a random idea I had when I was watching the intro a few weeks back, actually. I thought, what if they distorted the audio, the intro audio? If it's distorted, why isn't the audio distorted? I just wanted to mention that, because, I thought about it. Anyways, meanwhile, Lalo goes to Germany to find out what happened to Warner Ziegler. Because apparently he's not interested in Nacho anymore, which the ending of season 5 really hinted at. But they probably didn't. I mean, they definitely didn't know where they're going. They just had a general idea, so they had to get their way out of that. But when Lala returns to Albuquerque, he's probably gonna be wondering about Nacho because he doesn't really seem to. Uh, well, I mean, he probably does know that he works for Gus, so maybe it is a smarter move to just find out the whole situation instead of go tracking down Nacho. Also, Francesca returns this episode after a 3 season long hiatus, and she's her same normal self from season 3. So we don't really know how she's so I don't know what's the word for it, pessimistic like in Breaking Bad. Uh, but yeah, this is just a an episode that gets us through to the next few episodes. Not much, but it was interesting. I really have to rewatch it to understand what the ruler meant because I didn't figure it out, but I'm gonna rewatch it soon. Anyways, yeah, that was my thoughts on the episode Black and Blue. I gotta figure out why it's called that because it's also the name of the Breaking Bad episode Negro YSL, if I even said that right, which is Spanish for Black and Blue. Uh, yeah, that's my thoughts on this episode, and I will see you in the next episode, Axe and Grind. See ya. Alright, the episode Axe and Grind. It's not like a insane episode like Rock and Hard Place, like where it has like a major character death or anything, but it's still like a good episode of Better Call Saul, just like the last 3. It's filled with references, all the stuff that makes me happy. The opening scene of another Kim flashback of her in Nebraska. You really see Kim's mother really ragging on her for stealing something, which was like a total character shift from the first flashback. And so, maybe she wasn't so bad after all, but then, once they get in the car, she, congratulates her and gives her the rings that she still wears 40 years later, pretty much. I would do the same thing. They really, hammer home the point of the Nebraska license plate, but, when they're pulling out of the driveway, but, they use that shot several times before in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and El Camino. I've seen that shot so many times. I could really feel the writers writing this at this point, because I really know their style. But yeah, there must be some something going on with Gene. If they're still pointing out that's Nebraska. Also, something else interesting in this episode is the veterinarian has come back, and something always that I've always wanted to say about him is that he's kind of just a prop to get other characters in the criminal underworld, just like Saul Goodman was in Breaking Bad. And he's kind of one-dimensional. Besides that, the writers just kind of write these one-dimensional characters to get the main characters where they need to be. But he gave Saul Goodman, well, he's probably going to give Saul Goodman the black book that he has. So that's how he knows how he has that many clients in Breaking Bad, or things he could, not clients, but you know what I'm saying. So it really brings into perspective, how is Saul going to get the inflatable, the black book, all that. Speaking of things that are close to Breaking Bad, where you feel like, how is this going to change over the course of Breaking Bad? The interior of Saul's office is way more classy and over the top than the rundown office that has folding chairs and tearing walls and stuff. This season subverts expectations in in a good way. I don't think subverting expectations is bad, but Also, why was the same air freshener used in that the taxi driver has in the dream scenes? Maybe just reference and nothing more, but it's kind of weird that they have the same air freshener. Uh, there's no Gus this episode, but he doesn't have anything to do until Lalo figures out what he needs to know and comes back to Albuquerque. That's probably why Giancarlo Esposito directed this episode. And also, the ending. Like, why does Kim want to fulfill the plan so bad? Like, unless she knows something Jimmy doesn't, or the writers need it to be dramatic, and just have that ticking time bomb that makes it dramatic. But yeah, not really much to say, but as a whole, this season is good anyways. It's just that it comes out on a weekly basis, so it's like it's not every episode feels bigger than it actually is. But anyways, I'll see you in the next episode, Plan and Execution. And that is the last episode for the mid-season until it comes back in July, which I also read a couple articles that said there's going to be a big cliffhanger, just like this episode. So hopefully hopefully it's not that big, because I don't want that to happen. Breaking Bad fans had that whole thing where Jesse shot Gale, and they had to wait until season 4, which is like a year later. So, thank God I don't have that. But anyways, see you next time. I've been waiting to talk about this for a while. Just AMC just randomly dropped the Slippin Jimmy show today, so I guess I'll review it. It was very random, like a couple hours before the mid-season finale. But they never said it was coming today either. So I haven't reviewed episode 7 yet, so I'm just gonna put that before this. But I'm not really sure what the audience of this is for, anyways, because this is the spin-off of a spin-off of like an R-rated universe. So just a bunch of man children are gonna watch it. And maybe a few babies who find this on AMC Plus. But I don't really think babies are on AMC Plus. But it's just funny to know that this isn't the canon of the Breaking Bad universe. I don't really mind it. I'll enjoy binging it. The 6 episodes. It's only an hour long when I go on my Breaking Bad binges. Anyways, there's not much to say about this series. But I do ship Jimmy and Marco, though. There are funny moments, but the writing is pretty boring, even for like a 10-minute episodes. The writing just isn't sharp enough, even for like an animated comedy. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Slippin Jimmy. See you in the next episode, Plan and Execution. Alright, 607, Plan and Execution. I've waited a few hours to fully put down notes and what I really thought about the episode, because it's the final episode for 1, 2, lots of stuff happens in it, so it requires a lot of thought. Anyways, I'll say this for one though, these writers going way harder than they did in Breaking Bad. I'll say that. In Breaking Bad there was only one main character death, like Hank. I mean, there was Andrea and a lot of other people, but those were introduced late into the series, so they don't matter. They aren't registered as humans. They don't matter. Anyways, nah, I bet you already know what happened, and if you don't, I don't know why you're watching this review. Howard Hamlin is dead. Lalo killed him for some reason. I didn't even know who he was. He just walked in the room and shot him for no reason. Yeah. So, HHM is probably defunct now because Chuck and Howard are dead. And, yeah, bye-bye to that company. And I bet this is worse than what the people who watched Breaking Bad, the final season finale went, with Hank on the toilet. But that was a year-long wait, and this is only a month, so, not as bad. But, now there's only 6 more episodes and the Howard scam plot is over. So I guess it's like time to focus on the final touches to Saul Goodman's character, like getting the Cadillac, transforming the office to like its Breaking Bad version. Finally seeing how Walter and Jesse play into the season somehow. But I don't even know what the plot would be. Apparently there's going to be a time jump to 2008 with Walter and Jesse. I literally don't know how we'll play into the plot without being clumsy. In Breaking Bad, though, Saul has to get caught. He's caught up on what happened because he thought he was dead. So he'll find out about the Nacho situation, but why does it even matter if he says Nacho is the one to open the door? If like Nacho is dead, because that doesn't even make sense. Because I don't know why anyone would think it's Saul Goodman in the first place. This is like the most cryptic. This is like the most cryptic season yet. Like you're supposed to get why like people would like why Gus would react to hearing Spice Girls or Lalo seeing a cockroach, and you're like not even clued in on what's happening with the Howard plot. So you're just like supposed to like piece it together. You have to like really analyze each episode to like understand what's even happening. But this season in whole is great anyways. It keeps up with the Easter eggs and consistent story the show is known for. Maybe it has a few problems like how Lalo got to Germany and back somehow. Especially because he was like in Germany like in the last episode, but he somehow got all the way back to Albuquerque. Maybe you need to give it a bit more attention than usual to understand it, but still, it's amazing how they could like keep the consistency with this whole universe after like 11 whole seasons, since the show has been running since like 2008. I mean, this saga has been running since like 2008. But yeah, I'm really excited to like continue this review, cause I started Breaking Bad like 2 years ago in like 2020, and I've been just following this whole universe, which is a lot to catch up on. So it's really interesting to see where it's going. And I would love to work on something like this in the future. It's really inspiring, honestly. But yeah, that has been my review of episode 7, Plan and Execution of Better Call Saul. I hope you enjoyed this review. It's been in the making for at least like a month and a half, and so I hope it's worth it, because I have to compile all this and edit it. It's a big review. Hopefully I could even export it. But I will see you in part 2. I am still willing to change the form that this series is in. Like if you aren't interested in the pictures, I mean I can make it more scripted. Whatever, just let me know. I'll be able to evolve. And yeah, I'll see you next time.